Welcome to the Statler Financial Radio Show with Philip Statler. Have a question for the show or need assistance with your retirement plan? Give Philip a call today. 863-285-3815. 863-285-3815.
Thanks for joining us today on the Statler Financial Radio Show with Philip Statler. He is president and CEO of Statler Financial Services in Sebring. We have a great show lined up today. Going to be talking about ways to maximize your retirement income. Who wouldn't want to learn about that, right? Philip, great topic today. So glad to have you here. Hope you're doing great this week.
Hey, doing great. It is a good topic that every retiree needs to learn about and needs to understand that whole process. Even if you're already retired, that first 10 years of retirement, Jen, is so vitally important because if you make a mistake, you make a misstep in that first 10 years, that can be a real big problem.
Right. That is the last thing you need at this stage of the game, Philip, is to make that misstep so you end up spending down your savings too quickly. You want to make sure that you've done enough. So today we want to share with you some simple ways to help you maximize your retirement income, and you can help make the most out of your retirement by taking these strategic but simple steps. I think those are important words there, Philip. They are simple, but also very strategic.
Absolutely. And you're so right. It is having that simple strategy, in place. It is important that people really recognize that your financial focus really and truly has to change when you get to retirement. I mean, if you think about it, for decades now, folks, you've been putting money in your 401k, you've been saving in other accounts, getting ready for this time of your life, retirement. You've done a good job of saving, but now we have to shift that mindset from growing. Don't get me wrong, we still have to grow, but now there's something more important. More important is preserving what you have to maximize your income. So that's the switch you have to make. And I got to tell you, Jen, people in this industry, they don't get it. They know the mindset of grow, but not how do you get your money out over that time. So we want to make sure that, that you're putting together the best possible plan so that you can live your best case scenario in retirement. I mean, it's that simple, Jen.
Right. And here's the thing. Projections from the Employee Benefit Research Institute show 40% of households where the head of household is between 35 and 64. 40% of those folks are projected to run short of money in retirement. So, gosh, that's a lot of people. How concerned, Philip, should pre-retirees be about this idea of running out of money?
Jen, they should be very concerned. And I got to tell you, I'm really shocked by that number. I've not seen that statistic. And that's a telling number, and it can be problematic down the road. So I'm thinking that people need to really understand that and take heed and start making sure that they're on the right track. I mean, that's just a big number, Jen.
It absolutely is. It's a lot of people. So let's talk about what can go wrong here, Philip. What are some of the factors that can cause you to spend down your savings faster than you anticipated?
Well, there's a lot of things that can impact your retirement, and there's a lot of unexpected things that can hit you at the wrong time. And sometimes we can't plan for everything, but let's just look at some of the things that can be a problem. And let's start with health first, because health is a big deal, and it can cost us some big dollars, right? So whether we get that illness that is a terminal illness or just an illness that's going to last a long time, whether that's some disease or cancer or, all those things that we don't want to think about. Nobody wants to think about those things could impact us in retirement, but they can. And we have to have a plan in place that will help address those should they become an issue. I mean, people have auto accidents all the time. And so accidents, they slip and fall in your house. Those things can be a problem. Things that we just don't expect. And one of the other ones that we don't talk about a lot anymore is memory dimension issues. It has become a problem in this country, and you don't know when it might affect you. I've seen it affect people earlier than I even thought was possible. And so that's an area. So outside of health, I would say that we need to look at planning for a forced early retirement, whether that's because of a health issue, which it could very well be, or it could be a company downsizing. It could be some other thing that affects your retirement, and now you're forced to retire early.
Right.
A spouse passing away, that can cause us to have to lose some income.
And that's a tough one, Philip, and we don't always think about it, but that's a really important one to think about. What happens on the income side if something happens to your spouse? That's a really big deal.
It is, and let's face it, nobody plans for that.
No.
Right? I mean, we don't. Number one, who would? I mean, I don't want to, because when you plan for it, then you're thinking about that's a possibility, and nobody wants to think about that possibility. But my job is to help people realize that is something that could affect their retirement, and it's very real. The other couple things that have been really and truly a big deal here over the recent history, and that's going to be inflation. Inflation.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
Is a silent killer, and so we need to be cognizant of what that can do to our purchasing power. And then lastly, I would say on that list is going to be stock market volatility. And that's a big deal. I mean, we had for such a long time, it wasn't an issue because we went many, many years with, it seemed like the markets just kept going up and away. And now we've seen some volatility creep in the last, I don't know, probably the last 6 months to a year, right? We've seen a lot of volatility. And so we want to make sure that we've put a plan in place for that. And that's really and truly why we want to make sure that folks that are getting ready to retire, 5 years, if you're 5 years out from retirement, or you're in that first 10 years of retirement, it is so important. That's why we make ourselves available. We offer a 30-minute, no obligation, free phone consultation where we'll help you make sure you are on the right track, answer questions that you have, and see if there's any way that we can make sure that you are going in the right direction. Again, it's simple. It's a 30-minute, no obligation phone call, 863-285-3815. Call us, get on the schedule for your 30-minute free phone consultation.
Talking today with Philip Statler. He is president and CEO of Statler Financial Services in Sebring, talking about some of the ways that can cause you to spend down your savings too quickly. I think it's so important that we spend some time setting up the problem here. But Philip, let's talk about some solutions. What's a possible strategy to help us make sure we don't spend down our retirement savings too quickly?
Well, I would say first, consider using a bucket strategy for your retirement savings. So rather than seeing your retirement as one big account that you're pulling money out of, divide that account into different categories, right? So the first bucket might be what you'd use the first 2 to 5 years in retirement. So obviously this money needs to be cash or cash equivalent. It needs to be something that you can easily access and be available. The second bucket might be funds that are slightly have a little bit more risk to them, assets that you could use maybe year 3 to 10 in retirement. And the third bucket could be your the rest of your retirement, year 10 and on, right? So this money would be in the highest type of risk, at least for the first part of retirement. Obviously, the closer you get to needing to rely on that money, the less risk we would want to be taking with that bucket of money, Jen.
Right. Good strategies to think about there. And Philip, when is a good time for us to get a second opinion on what we're using for our retirement income, the strategies we're using, or the decisions we've been making? When is a good time to get somebody like you to take a look at that?
So I would say, look, if you are 5 to 10 years out from retirement, that's not too soon to make sure that you have the right plan in place to get you into and through retirement. Obviously, the closer you get, the more important it is. But the other group of folks that really probably need to get a second opinion is those folks that have retired in that first 10 years of retirement. Because that's the time period. If you make a misstep in that first 10 years of retirement, it can be devastating to lifetime income. And so we want to help you miss some of those missteps.
So, Philip, as we talk about this, as I said earlier, you are right to worry about possibly running out of money. Good idea to get that second opinion because there are so many missteps that you can make here. Projections from the Employee Benefit Research Institute show 40% of households where the head of the household is between 35 and 64. So we're talking about a lot of pre-retirees here. 40% of those households are projected to run short of money in retirement. And even wealthier baby boomers are not immune, with 13% of boomers in the highest income quartile. They're still projected to run out of money over a 35-year retirement. So this is a pretty serious issue here, Philip.
It is. Those stats are just so scary, really and truly they are, because nobody thinks it's them, right? They don't think it's them that's in that 40%. And that's going to be the problem. Folks, listen, running out of money is still, from what I see, is still the biggest fear for so many of the folks I work with. People are caught up in how much they've saved, and that's great. But you know what? You really need to think about how much you're going to need to spend in retirement, because if you don't have it, you can't spend it. So what could it take for you to live your ideal lifestyle for the next 30 years? I mean, that's a long time to be in retirement, but statistically, those are the numbers, right? You could be 30 years, maybe even 40 years in retirement, and that's a long time. If you're listening to me right now and you don't have some kind of income strategy in place, I invite you to give us a call. Let us help you make sure that you are on the right path to retirement. We'll look at maybe your budgets. We'll help you uncover some of the threats that could be out there for your retirement. We'll even talk about some options that you have for gathering and generating income in retirement. And so these are important issues for you. And I make it simple. I really do. All you have to do is give us a call at our phone number, 863-285-3815. Tell the girls there, look, I want to schedule a 30-minute phone consultation with Philip. It's that simple. Non-threatening, no obligation. We'll answer whatever questions you may have that you're getting ready for retirement. Or if you're already retired, we'll answer your questions and make sure that you are on the right path. If you're not, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong, maybe what things you could do to help fix that. It's that simple. 30 minutes of my time, free. Give us a call at 863-285-3815. Again, that's 863-285-3815. Folks, give us a call right now and schedule your core retirement phone call. 863-285-3815.
So how many times in your life could you be making a $1 million decision? For some of you, when to start taking your Social Security benefits could be one of those $1 million decisions. So it pays to get it right. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. This is the Statler Financial Radio Show. We'll be back.
Call Philip Statler today to get started on your complimentary financial X-ray report. 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815.
This is your captain speaking. We're expecting fair skies, a smooth flight, and about a 85% chance or so of making it to our destination. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the flight.
Would you stay on that plane? Of course not. Well, do you have a retirement plan where you probably won't run out of money? You need a plan that no matter the destination will help you get to and through retirement successfully. Philip Statler and the team at Statler Financial Services can design a plan to help you get to your destination as comfortably as possible, even if Wall Street or the economy causes some turbulence. Call Philip Statler and the Statler Financial Services team to start working on your plan. 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815. Get a plan designed to allow you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the retirement you've worked so hard for. 863-285-3815. Firm offers insurance services, advisory services offered through Statler Financial Services Incorporated, a registered investment advisory firm in the state of Florida. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Thanks for joining us today on the Statler Financial Radio Show with Philip Statler. He is president and CEO of Statler Financial Services in Sebring. StatlerFinancial.com is the website if you want to check him out online. Philip, 96% of Americans are taking Social Security at the wrong time. So that means most of us are getting it wrong and losing out on an average of $111,000 over a lifetime. Philip, so many of us are mismanaging this benefit, and yet, for some of us, when to start taking Social Security could be a $1 million decision.
It is a big decision, right? And you're right. I see people taking it at the wrong time. So let me just kind of walk you through some of the math there, right? And this year, we got a 5.9% cost of living adjustment for Social Security. One of the biggest I think I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
The average Social Security benefit is going to be $1,657 a month. Now, I've seen anywhere from folks getting $600-700 a month to people getting over $3,000 a month in their Social Security.
Okay.
So look, if you do the math, that adds up to nearly $600,000 over a 30-year retirement. And if you're married, you can double that number if you both earned about the same amount.
Mm-hmm.
So that's $1 million or $1 million more of income that you're going to get from Social Security over a 30-year period of time.
Wow.
It's a big number, a big number.
It is a big number. So clearly it is a big deal to make sure you're taking this at the right time. It might seem like, Philip, the Social Security Administration is the natural place to start, but let's talk about that. Can the workers there, can the people who work with Social Security even make the recommendations that we might need on when to start taking this?
They're not allowed to.
Okay.
They can't. I mean, people want to ask them questions because they can't give you an opinion. All they can do is give you the facts. You know, how much am I going to get when I'm 62? It's this. If I wait till 70, what's it going to be? It's going to be this. Can I take mine and switch? They'll tell you what the rules are, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they can look at the rules. They can't interpret the rules. They can give you the rules.
Okay.
So it's a big deal. That's why you have to really kind of look outside of Social Security Administration to kind of figure out what that needs to look like for you.
So we need to talk to somebody who can help us walk through this, somebody other than the employees at the Social Security Administration who, again, do a good job with what they do. It's just important to recognize what they can and can't do. When it comes to getting recommendations on when to start taking Social Security, Philip, what do you tell people some factors they should consider? What do you have people think about or walk through when they're trying to figure out when to start taking that?
One, we start with how healthy are they, right?
Okay.
How healthy are you? If you're healthy, then, okay, that's one. Then at what age did your parents pass away?
Mm-hmm. Longevity.
Right? How long did they live? What's longevity look like in your family? And not just your parents, but what about their parents? Right? And sometimes we'll get some mixed numbers, right? Maybe, granddad didn't live very long, but grandma lived to 100. But those are numbers we need to consider in the whole realm of things, right? Health is where I start. Then obviously it comes down to financial need, right? What do you need? Have you prepared to be able to take something other than Social Security in retirement? Do you have a 401k that would bridge that gap? Or sometimes, Jen, we have to be the hard-nosed person, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to give the advice that people don't want to hear. Don't retire at 62. You need to work another 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's what people don't want to hear. But we're here because we want to be honest with our clients. We want to tell them the truth, not what they want to hear. And that's hard to do sometimes. But that's why we're the coach. We're the coach to coach people into and through retirement. And sometimes you got to deliver the news that nobody wants to hear, that we've got to take more bats than what we want to be. Year after year, we're just going to have to do some more time. Nobody wants to understand. Nobody wants to do that. It's my job. It's what we're here for, to give people the facts and to help them plan for that retirement. That's why, Jen, we make ourselves available for a free 30-minute phone consultation where we'll answer your questions that you might have, whether it's about the markets, about your retirement, about drawing Social Security, whatever it might be. We want to answer your questions. We want to make sure that you are on the right path for your retirement, whether that's 5 years, 10 years down the road, or whether you are in that first 10 years of retirement. We're here as a resource for you. Use us. give us a call at 863-285-3815 to schedule your free core retirement phone call with me here at Statler Financial. Again, that number is 863-285-3815.
Talking today with Philip Statler. He is president and CEO of Statler Financial Services in Sebring. That number one more time, 863-285-3815. Talking in this part of the show, our whole show today is about maximizing retirement income. And one of those sources of income for so many people in retirement is Social Security. We've been talking about why it's important to get it right. Philip, what are some common mistakes people make when it comes to Social Security? Are there may be any assumptions or just some common mistakes that you see over and over again?
The biggest mistake I see is people taking it too early. That are healthy, they don't necessarily need it. They may still be working, Jen. They may be working still, but they're taking that Social Security at 62. And some of them are banking it, some of them need it. But in any case, that's the number one mistake I see is healthy folks taking Social Security too early. It looks good on paper because they're getting extra income, but it's going to be a big problem down the road, especially with a lot of the inflation that we're seeing now. Look, if I can wait 5 years and get a 30 or 40% increase in my benefit, to me, that's a no-brainer, right? If you think about when retirement was started, when Social Security was started, people men especially, didn't hardly live past 65.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A different situation, right? A whole different scenario. That is not the case today. You know, the average man who retires at 65 is got a very good chance of living to 80 and beyond. And so that's why Social Security planning becomes so important, Jen.
And here's the thing with Social Security. This is an important piece of it, but it is only one piece of the overall strategy here for helping make sure your money will last. Talk about that overall retirement income strategy, what that looks like, and how does your Social Security strategy fit into all that? Because again, it's just one piece of the retirement planning puzzle.
It is one piece, Jen, but I got to tell you, it's an important piece. It's one of the things that we say you can count on. Right? You can count on that Social Security check being there month in and month out. I know some of you out there may doubt that, but believe me, right at this point, it's there. It's going to be there month in and month out. And so if you've listened to me at all over the years, you know that when we look at income planning, that it's a three-legged stool that's become a two-legged stool, right? And so that means Social Security is one of those legs for your income. The other leg is if you're fortunate enough to have a pension. That's the second leg. So Social Security is leg one, your pension is leg two. The third leg is whatever you've saved for retirement, whether that's through a 401k, outside of retirement account, that you have an account that you put money away, but it's up to you to provide that third leg. Well, what's happened over the years is now a lot of folks, there's only two legs, Social Security and what they've saved, and how much income they can pull off of what they've saved. That's how important that is to make sure you get that strategy right when it comes to your Social Security, Jen.
So important that you think about this with your Social Security as well as all of those other pieces of your retirement income planning puzzle. We've been focusing on Social Security here in this part of the show, and here's why. 96% of Americans, Philip, are taking Social Security at the wrong time. So that means most of us are losing out big time, losing out on tens of thousands of dollars or more over a lifetime.
Shit, I got to tell you, that statistic still just grabs my attention.
I know.
And I hope folks are listening to that out there. 96% of the folks out there are taking it at the wrong time. That makes this subject so much more important. So that means that the average household is missing out on over $100,000 in unclaimed Social Security benefits over their retirement lifetime. You know, because people are taking their benefit at the wrong time. Now, unfortunately, not many financial advisors are willing to talk about this. To me, folks, $100,000 is a significant amount of money. I wouldn't want to accidentally miss out on a benefit like that over my retirement lifetime. Folks, there's a lot of variables out there that you need to consider before you start taking your Social Security. So I'm offering you 30 minutes of my time through our core retirement phone consultation. give us a call at 863-285-3815. Let's spend 30 minutes on the phone seeing, where are you right now? How many legs do you have, and what do those legs look like for your retirement income plan? Ask the questions you need to ask to get some clarity around what retirement is going to mean to you. Where's the income going to come from? Because that's what makes or breaks your retirement, is being able to enjoy it because you got the cash flow coming in to do that. Again, give us a call, 863-285-3815 to schedule your core retirement phone call. It's that simple. Folks, listen, Social Security Administration, they can't help you with this. They can give you the facts about your Social Security, but they can't teach you how to make the most out of your benefit. That's what we can help you with. Give us a call at 863-285-3815. Because I got to tell you, Social Security is going to be one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make. And once you make it, guess what? You can't go back. If you've saved at least $150,000 for retirement, give us a call. Let's schedule our core retirement phone call. Do it right now. Don't procrastinate. 863-285-3815. Your retirement income is important. Don't put it off. Call us right now at 863-285-3815 to schedule your core retirement phone call.
It's so important that you get it right when it comes to the numbers. When it comes to Social Security, you could be missing out on tens of thousands of dollars in lifetime income, or you could be living your best case scenario. It's a matter of claiming it at the right time. That number that Philip shared just a moment ago, again, 863-285-3815. Now, if some of your income in retirement is coming from your retirement savings, you could get hit with the highest penalty in the tax code if you aren't careful. We'll explain what I mean by that coming up on the other side of the break. This is the Statler Financial Radio Show.
If you have a retirement plan and would like a second opinion, call Statler Financial Services today. 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815.
From the pitch, swung at a little too soon.
Strike three, you're out.
To the joke told at the wrong time. To barely missing your connecting flight.
This is the final boarding call for Flight 109 to Chicago.
Timing is everything. The same is true for your Social Security benefits. Take them too soon and you can leave a lot of money on the table. Take them too late and you might spend down too much of your savings. Everybody's situation can be different, but taking your Social Security benefits at the right time is important for your retirement success. Philip Statler at Statler Financial understands Social Security and can help you make decisions that are best for you and your retirement dreams. Call 863-285-3815 to start optimizing your benefits. With Social Security, timing is everything, so don't delay. Call Philip Statler at Statler Financial today. 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815. Our firm offers insurance services and is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Advisory services offered through Statler Financial Services, Inc., a registered investment advisory firm in the state of Florida.
Thanks for joining us today on the Statler Financial Radio Show as we are examining ways to help maximize your income in retirement. Forbes says required minimum distributions, we call those RMDs, can trigger the highest penalty in the tax code if you don't follow the rules. So when we think about getting the most and maximizing our retirement income, Philip, you do not want things like steep penalties and potentially higher taxes eating away at that, right? Swiping away at your savings and leaving you with just a fraction of the money you were counting on for retirement.
That's right. We have enough other things that can take swipes at our retirement income, right?
Goodness.
Yeah. So let's don't miss an easy one here that we don't have to make, right? If you make a mistake from your required minimum distribution from your IRA or your other retirement accounts, because your 401k, your 403bs, all of those require a required minimum distribution. And the penalty for not taking the full amount that you're supposed to is 50% of the amount that you should have taken. In addition, you still got to pay the income tax on that distribution in the year you take it out. That can be devastating to your retirement.
Yeah, it is something that we have to be aware of. Those are big numbers there. So let's talk about what do pre-retirees need to know about taking those required minimum distributions from their retirement accounts. What is some of the advice that you might have for people who need to start taking that money out?
So one thing that we look at is, should you be taking it out before you hit the age of 72?
Okay.
Right? So should we be taking it out early? And that's a tax question, really, is because that helps us be more tax efficient overall. If we can take some of that money out today and keep your tax bracket lower than having to take the RMD down the road, then that benefits you because now we're paying less in taxes. So everything that we take out of our IRA, our 401k distributions are subject to regular income tax. And so we want to look at ways to effectively reduce that as best we can. And one way is just to start taking it earlier. That way we can take out smaller amounts, and every smaller amount we take is going to be less RMD we have to take when you hit 72. So we incorporate that into our whole income strategy so that we're helping folks make smarter withdrawal decisions that can help reduce their taxes. We don't want to waste tax brackets. And that's what we do. And it's all about planning for that income and where it's going to come from. It is really the whole. If you have an income plan, then it kind of takes care of itself, really.
Let's talk about the penalties here for not doing this correctly, not taking your required minimum distribution correctly. You alluded to this earlier, that it's 50% of the amount that you should have taken in addition to the income taxes. Talk about the kind of an impact that those costly penalties can have on our retirement when we're already taking money out of our nest egg. And then if we have to do penalties, it's even more. Talk about the impact that can have over time.
Well, it can have a huge impact. I mean, if you think about it, if you're going into a year and your required minimum distribution, let's just say it's $10,000, and you didn't take it. You didn't take anything out of your IRAs or your 401ks. So that you calculate that penalty is $5,000. And then you're still going to have to take the distribution in the next year and pay taxes on it. So you think about that, that can be devastating to our retirement accounts. Now, let's just go back and focus on, the overall. So the only part that you're really penalized on, Jen, is what you didn't take. So if your RMD was 10 grand and you only took out 8, then you're going to pay that penalty on that 2,000 you didn't take. So that's going to be $1,000 penalty. So that's why I think it's so important that you start taking it out as part of your income planning process. And that helps kind of take care of itself, really and truly. And that's why it's so important to have that income plan. So listen, folks out there, if you're getting ready to retire, you're already retired, and you don't have a written retirement income plan that helps incorporate those required minimum distributions, that can be a problem down the road. That's why we offer our core retirement phone call, where we'll give you 30 minutes of our time. No obligation, no cost, to answer any questions you might have about retirement planning, about income planning, Social Security, whatever it might be. We want to be that resource for you. 30 minutes. Give us a call at 863-285-3815 to schedule your core retirement phone call.
That number again, 863-285-3815 to get started on that retirement core design review. Philip, some people, here's another situation as we talk about people taking money out of their retirement accounts. And we already talked about Social Security a little bit earlier in the show. Some people who delay Social Security until age 70, which is the maximum age of delaying because the benefits don't get larger after that. So there are people who wait until 70 to start taking Social Security, Philip, so they can get the biggest dollar amount of their benefit. Then they have to start taking money from their retirement savings at age 72. So you have a couple years of Social Security, and then you have to start taking money at age 72 from your retirement accounts. That could potentially push you into a higher tax bracket. This is what some analysts call the tax torpedo, because you're torpedoing up. How do we dodge that tax torpedo, Philip? Yikes.
Yeah, that can be devastating. And so one way is, like I said a little earlier, is start taking money out now, right? So especially if you're waiting till 70 to take your Social Security, then one thing that should be happening is I'm sure folks are going to need income. Of course, they could still be working. Some people work till 70 because they love what they're doing, and that's when they're going to retire. But for those that don't, that are still putting off Social Security, and I'm seeing more and more people do that, Jen, that they're holding off on Social Security till age 70, even though they've actually retired. And so that's where it's so important, that income plan, to help start taking money out of that IRA while you're not getting Social Security. Because then that helps reduce that required minimum distribution when you hit age 72. That's one of the ways to do it. The other thing that you could do is start looking at doing Roth conversions, right? Earlier, not at 72, but earlier. Take Roth conversions. That's going to help lower what you have to take out of your IRA as well. So there are some strategies out there, but everybody's got to be willing to look at those strategies and weigh it out for themselves to see what's really going to be the best for them. And sometimes that means you have to talk to your accountant, your tax guy, and say, okay, look, here's what I'm thinking about. Here's a couple options my financial guy's given me. What's the best option for me in my tax situation? It's sitting down with the tax guy and making some of those things aware of them and getting his opinion as to what those really mean for you.
And that tax piece is so important. Just talk about the impact taxes can have on our retirement over time, because it seems like something we don't always think about going in is what those taxes can be.
They don't. And I got to tell you, Jen, I get phone calls every year when I sit down with clients during the reviews, and it's like, so Philip, when do I get to quit paying taxes?
Oh.
Yeah.
And you say?
So I'm sorry, but the tax man gets it as long as you're making income. Yeah, as long as you got income, he's got his hands out.
Right.
It never, ever goes away. As long as you have income, you got to pay the tax man.
And those retirement accounts count as income when we're taking money out, right?
That's right. When you're taking money out of the retirement account, that is 100% income out of those traditional IRAs and 401ks and 403bs. So that's why, people don't realize you need, I get people, hey, I'm going to go buy my house. I want to pay cash. I need, $250,000 out of my IRA. I said, whoa. $250,000. That's going to push you into this tax bracket. It's going to cost you this much more in taxes. Let's talk about a better way.
Yeah.
It's coaching. It's all about coaching, Jen. If you don't have a retirement coach, man, it is going to be tough to get through retirement.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We help coach our clients in all the decisions they need to make, whether they're financial or non-financial. We're here as a sounding board to make sure they're making the right decisions going forward. It's important to do because taxes can take a big bite out of your retirement if you do it wrong.
That is so important for you to recognize. And Philip, I'm guessing people overlook quite a bit when it comes to taxes in retirement. As you were saying, they might not even realize that they have to pay taxes on certain things. Is that probably the biggest thing that people overlook? Or are there other things that people don't understand about how taxes work in retirement?
Well, I think that they understand, but they forget.
Yeah.
They forget that when I pull money out of that account, there's a tax guy waiting with his hands out. As Ed Slott always says, look, that IRA is not yours. There's a mortgage on it. You got to pay the mortgage every time you take money out of it. Right? And the problem is we don't know how much the mortgage is because we don't know what tax bracket you're going to be in. If you're in a 30% tax bracket and you take out 60 grand, look, you're going to be paying, 18 grand in taxes. That's a big number, right? So that's part of the planning process is to make sure that we take into consideration what the tax consequences are going to be, and we help folks determine what's the best tax strategy when you need a lump sum. Where does it need to come from?
And we have to recognize, going back to taxes, today's federal income tax rates, they could be the lowest you'll see for the rest of your life because tax rates went down with that 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. But those tax rates built into it, they expire at the end of 2025. So we know that they're already going to go up then. Plus, we have seen so many different proposals coming out of the Biden administration. So there's been a lot of different ideas for what we can do to increase taxes. So at this point, Philip, it's not a matter of if, but when taxes are going to go back up, right?
Yeah. I like the way the first part you kind of hedge your bet. They could be the lowest we've ever seen. I'd go out on a limb and say they are the lowest we've ever seen. You don't want to assume that you won't be impacted, though, by the proposed tax increases because you're not, quote, a big corporation or you're not, quote, wealthy enough. Folks, when taxes go up, we will all pay the price no matter what. And I bet just about everyone listening has a few areas where they can benefit and become a little bit more tax efficient with their retirement money. Because I want to help you understand the potential tax impact that your retirement savings can have on your overall savings. Learn about ways to reduce or possibly eliminate what those taxes look like in retirement, and then help you create an income strategy so that your retirement income lasts as long as you need it to. Listen, if you've saved at least $150,000 for retirement, give us a call at 863-285-3815 and schedule your core retirement phone call, where we'll spend 30 minutes with you at no cost and no obligation, answering questions that you may have, giving you some pointers to go down the right direction, and see if there's anything we can do where we might be of benefit to you. Again, give us a call at 863-285-3815 to schedule your core retirement phone call. 30 minutes of my time, no cost or obligation to you. It's that simple. It's that easy. It's that non-threatening. Don't waste time. Do it right now. 863-285-3815.
There really is just a short window of opportunity to take action to keep taxes from taking too much of a bite out of your savings. It could mean tens of thousands of dollars back in your pocket over a lifetime. That number again, 863-285-3815. The number of Americans who are afraid they'll never be able to retire is at an all-time high. But with the right help, you can learn how to make what you've saved last as long as you need it. This is the Statler Financial Radio Show. We'll be back.
This is your captain speaking. We're expecting fair skies, a smooth flight, and about a 85% chance or so of making it to our destination. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the flight.
Would you stay on that plane? Of course not. Well, do you have a retirement plan where you probably won't run out of money? You need a plan that no matter the destination will help you get to and through retirement successfully. Philip Statler and the team at Statler Financial Services can design a plan to help you get to your destination as comfortably as possible, even if Wall Street or the economy causes some turbulence. Call Philip Statler and the Statler Financial Services team to start working on your plan. 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815. Get a plan designed to allow you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the retirement you've worked so hard for. 863-285-3815. Firm offers insurance services, advisory services offered through Statler Financial Services Incorporated, a registered investment advisory firm in the state of Florida. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Thanks for joining us today on the Statler Financial Radio Show. I am Jen Rezac, happy to be here with Philip Statler. He is president and CEO of Statler Financial Services in Sebring. Our topic today has been ways to maximize your savings for retirement, maximize your income for retirement. And it's such an important topic because, Philip, the number of Americans who are afraid they'll never be able to retire, it's actually at an all-time high right now. People are worried about this.
And that's crazy, isn't it? And it's sad, right? That people are that stressed out about it. So if you're worried about being able to retire and if you're not sure you can afford to retire, that means most likely that you don't have a plan. And so that's why we have that uncertainty. We don't have a plan. And statistics, Jen, tell us that then more than likely, you probably don't have what we call a retirement income plan for your retirement. And you might not be working with the right type of financial professional who can help you develop that income strategy. Yeah. It's just important, to have that written retirement income plan. And I got to tell you, in all the workshops I do and all the people I sit down with, I can think of less than a handful in the last 10 years that have actually had some kind of written retirement income plan.
Wow. So a lot of people are missing that. And the latest Retirement Confidence Index from SimplyWise says it's 44% of Americans who are worried they'll never be able to retire. So that's what I started off with. That number's at an all-time high. 44% of us don't think will be able to retire at all. When you hear those numbers, tell me your reaction to that. Is it surprising for that many people to be worried that they'll never be able to retire? And do people come to you and that's what they're worried about? They say, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this.
So it is a surprisingly high number.
Yes.
Right. For me, I feel like that's a surprisingly high number. I get it. Right. So a lot of folks, it's only because some of those 44, they're worried only because they've not sat down with somebody to run the numbers to say, okay, I can't tell you, Jen, how many times I sit down with folks that are concerned about that issue, right? Can I retire? And we walk through the process and we look at where they are and how much they have and what their Social Security is going to be. And we look at all those factors and we run the numbers and say, look, here's what I think you can get in income every month. Really? We can get that amount? Yeah. Wow. Well, at that point that you see that relief come over their face, is like, oh, so I can afford to retire in 2 years. And that's the light bulb coming on. And man, that makes me feel so good when I'm able to sit down with somebody and let them know for certain that they're on the right path. Now, there's the flip side of that, right? There's some of those folks I sit down with and we run the same thing. And I have to say, look, I know that you wanted to retire at 62 or 65, whatever that number was for them. But look, if you really and truly want to have the retirement you dreamed of, you need to work to your full retirement age of 67 or whatever that number is. Okay. Instead of 62, you need to work to 65.
Right.
It's unfortunately not always good news. Sometimes it's like, look, if you do this and you put some more money in your 401k, then look, you can retire the way you want to. You just need to work a couple more years. And that gives them at least some certainty of what they need to be doing to improve that situation for their retirement.
Right. Just getting that, either that assurance that they're in better shape than they thought, or just the reality of, hey, you can still make this work. It's just going to take a little bit of a different approach. So it's important for us to get that, get somebody to look at that. Talk about that idea of a retirement income strategy. How can that help us feel more confident about our future? Because it does seem like a lot of times people are living off of assumptions when it comes to their money and their financial decisions. Talk about having that retirement income strategy helping with that.
You know, they do make assumptions. And I think a lot of times, Jen, people are afraid to come in and see a professional because they don't really want to know. I mean, they do, but they don't. They're like, well, you know, if I find out, then I might have to work a little bit longer. I might have to do this or that. And so I think there's that uncertainty when they should look at it from the standpoint of, hey, if I go sit down with somebody like Philip, I can get some certainty about what I need to do. Whether that's, yes, I'm okay, I can retire, or no, hey, look, I need to work till X, but it'll work if I do that, right? And that's all about what that retirement income strategy looks like. When we put together that income strategy, you know, it's a written game plan that says, hey, look, if we do this, this, and this, then this is what it's going to look like. This is how much extra income we can get. Here's what our Social Security is going to look like. It just really and truly sets us down and says, I now know what path I have to take to get to where I want to be. I mean, think about it. If you have a roadmap, how much easier is it to get to where you want to be? And that's what we help people do. Put together that written retirement income plan to make sure they're on the path they need to be on. Listen, folks, if you've saved at least $150,000 for retirement, we want to offer you our free, no obligation core retirement phone call where we'll spend 30 minutes helping you determine if you're on the right path for retirement. We'll answer questions that you have. Make sure that you're comfortable with where you are and where you need to get to. It's that simple. All you have to do is give us a call at 863-285-3815. Give us a call right now at 863-285-3815 and let them know you want to schedule your core retirement phone call with Philip. It's that simple, folks. Non-threatening. Again, 863-285-3815.
Talking today with Philip Statler. He is president and CEO of Statler Financial Services in Sebring. So when is it a good time to get a second opinion, especially for those who've been working with somebody on their finances and maybe they've had somebody who's been guiding them up until this point? When's a good idea to get that second opinion when it comes to our financial future in retirement?
If you're still working, I'm going to say 5 years for sure. 5 years. If you're 5 years out from retirement, you definitely need to get a second opinion of how the income plan is going to work for you. If you're 10 years out, it makes some sense to go ahead and start investigating that to make sure you're on the right path. But I'm going to tell you, probably one of the most important times is that first 10 years of retirement. That first 10 years of retirement, because if you make a mistake in that first 10 years, it can be devastating to the rest of your retirement life. That's the time period we need to look at is that 15 years, 5 before retirement, 10 after retirement. If you're in that 15-year time period, we need to sit down and talk.
And here's another reason why this is important. Nearly 70% of Americans are missing that written financial plan. And when we talk about planning for the future, people without a plan, Philip, they tend to feel less confident about their future. And you think about that, it's nearly 70% of us don't have that written financial plan.
That's right. And a lot of you are worried that you won't saved enough or that you won't be able to retire. Now, I know that most of you don't have a written financial plan or a written retirement income plan. And a written retirement income plan can help you feel more financially stable. It brings certainty to that retirement process. So you don't have to be one of those folks that's worried about where your income's going to come from. Will your money last long enough? Can I afford to retire? These are questions we can help you with, all in the process of creating an income strategy. Listen, folks, give us a call at 863-285-3815 to schedule your core retirement phone call, where I give you 30 minutes of my time, where we'll coach you through different aspects of retirement. We'll answer questions that you have that have been building up and give you some certainty about where you are, how you've scheduled out your retirement planning. It's that simple, folks. We'll help you talk about things like budgeting. We'll look at the different risk that could be imposed on your whole retirement income. Learn about different options to help generate income in retirement, and then learn how to keep your current standard of living even as costs continue to rise. It's totally a complimentary phone call. All you have to do is pick up the phone and give us a call at 863-285-3815 to schedule your core retirement phone call. Again, that's what I do. I help people provide that service, that coaching to make sure they're where they need to be to get to where they want to go. Give us a call again, 863-285-3815 to schedule your core retirement phone call.
Take advantage of this special opportunity from Philip to help make sure you won't run out of money. You could even boost your returns over time. So think about that. Get started today. That number again, 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815. You've been listening to the Statler Financial Radio Show. That is all the time we have for this week. Thanks so much for joining us today. Tune in again next week for more insights from Philip. In the meantime, have a great week. We'll talk to you next time.
Call Philip Statler today to get started on your complimentary financial X-ray report. 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815.
Information provided during the Statler Financial Radio Show is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but their accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed. Always consult with a qualified investment, legal, or tax professional before taking any action. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Individuals should thoroughly review the contract for specific details of the product features and costs. Income payments and withdrawals from deferred annuities are generally taxable as ordinary income in the year they are taken. All investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No strategy is guaranteed to be successful.
This radio show is a paid placement.